When I first discovered ThingLink back in 2011, it was a new tool that was primarily being used for businesses. But it didn't take long for me to recognize the tremendous potential ThingLink had for teaching and learning. Over the years, it's been really fun to watch ThingLink develop its own platform for EDU, which is powerful and has tremendous possibilities for teaching and learning. I'm here tonight to share some of those ideas with you. Tonight's webinar will explore some of the features of ThingLink, demonstrate how to use ThingLink, and then I'll be sharing some examples to inspire you and to show you just some of the powerful possibilities for transforming teaching and learning in your classroom. Finally, we'll hold a brief discussion about the types of accounts for teachers, students, and organizations. So I hope you'll sit back, relax, and enjoy this presentation. So what is ThingLink? ThingLink is a tool for annotating images and video with rich media. It's truly a user-friendly tool that provides teachers and students with a powerful and flexible tool for teaching and learning. It's useful across all content areas and all grade levels because it starts with any image or video. So on this screen you can see some tags. These are these little icons here that show you what type of tags they are. When you create a ThingLink, you can add a tag with just text like you see here, or you can link to anything on the web. But one of the most powerful features of ThingLink is the ability to add rich media tags to your ThingLink. A rich media tag is an embedded media that shows up right on the page. So here's an example of a YouTube video. As you can see, users just click on the tag and then the video pops up. But the most amazing thing is it plays right there on the screen. And students can even pause it if they want to. There's lots of rich media and it's all listed here. I'm just going to show you a few of the different types of media, and then you can see the different companies that we are integrated with where we support rich media tag embedding. So you can embed audio, which is really powerful for learners. This is a SoundCloud. You can also embed with Audio Boom for education, which is a safe tool for use with your students. And the sound will play right on the page. Now it doesn't play when I'm recording this webinar, but I guarantee you I can hear it in the background even if you can't. So I do think you should give that a shot. You can also embed a variety of different images from these sources, and you can also now upload an image to a tag with your ThingLink Premium account, so it would look like this. You could put an image in and then you can write words down below to describe the image. Also, if you're a fan of social media, there are lots of social media tags that you can add to your ThingLink, and that helps users discover your content and connect with you. Because as teachers, we're all learning together, and there's no need to reinvent the wheel. We can share content that we create. So there are also tags to e-commerce, which lead to some stores like Amazon or Best Buy. And then there are some tags in a miscellaneous category called utilities. And these are some of my favorite tags. As you can see, you can link to a poll daddy. So you can put a poll right on your ThingLink image. And you can also embed Google Docs right on the page like this. And of course, an embedded Google Doc is live, so you can actually fill out a form if you wanted to. So there are tremendous possibilities with embedding rich media tags on ThingLink. Now let's talk about the icons that you see here. When you add media and links to ThingLink, you start with an icon. Here are some of the icons that you'll see are available in the free version. When I first started using ThingLink, there was only one black icon, and it never occurred to me what would happen if we had more icons. But soon, ThingLink introduced 5 different colored icons, and I saw those right away as an opportunity to differentiate. You can see this is a screenshot of an image that I created in 2012 on the Electoral College. I was creating it for everyone in my school district. Students in grades 3 through 8 used it. And so I took advantage of these different colored icons to create a differentiated activity that could be used across grade levels within my district. That's all I did is I started with my image and then I added a little key at the bottom to it before I uploaded it to ThingLink. And this key helped users right away identify what their level was, and it just provided a differentiated resource. It was really successful and really popular across all those different grade levels. So icons are a tremendous for differentiation. Now with the premium version, you get more icons. Here you can see these Edu Premium icons are already available. And so when you go to add a tag, you can choose from these. You can also create your own icons if you want to make it your activity even more unique. And I find that using these icons is one of the most powerful things about ThingLink, because students can look at an activity right there, right in front of them, and choose the resource that works for their unique learning style. One glance at this resource will show you that that I'm trying to meet the needs of all learners through audio, video, and even differentiated levels of reading content. Let me show you that a little closer. So this is actually the first ThingLink I ever created, and I'm still using it today because there are some powerful features in ThingLink that allowed me to keep updating it and keep adding resources. And I was even able to change my simple ThingLink that started with just this image here to a collage as my resource grew. So again, students can just look at this and choose the resource that matches their learning need. What I did also is I put some numbers on here to guide students through the process. So let me show you a little bit. We started off number 1 with a video about the rocket launch, the first rocket launch. This is available from NASA, plays right on the screen, and it's really great to have it here so students don't have to navigate to a different page to find the resource and possibly get lost. And I had other videos here, you can see. There's a video here about the anniversary, which shows these friends talking 40 years later. But if we're talking about differentiation, we also want to make sure we include some audio. So I have 3 audio clips that are in the public domain. They're from NASA, and you can hear some very famous things like "One Small Step for Man." I know you won't be able to hear it here, but it's actually playing in my ears as I'm speaking. So that's really a great thing to do as well, to bring this resource to life and to provide all students with the opportunity to learn. What I really like about this resource, though, is the differentiated reading content. And this has changed over the years. Right now we're talking about beginning readers, proficient readers, and advanced readers. So I simply changed my icon to meet the terminology that we're using in today's teaching and learning discussions. But as you can see, this is a nice resource because students can choose their own level. I think it's really important to be able to self-select and to be aware of your abilities and your strengths and weaknesses. I always have students who want to tell me that they're at the advanced level, but I try to remind them, but if you don't have a lot of background knowledge about this, you might want to start at an easier level and work your way up. What I really like about this, though, is we're using one resource for all the students in the classroom. So no matter what the level learner you have, everybody can learn something. You can learn the very most basic things from the video. You can learn by reading at your level. And then I also have a link here that will click out of ThingLink and take you to a simulation game. So lots and lots of possibilities with one resource here. And a lot of that has to do with being able to use different icons. I also want to make sure everyone understands that ThingLink is cross-platform, which is perfect for schools who have a variety of devices or even for bring your own device. This is also good for schools that don't have much technology because you can use ThingLink on your home technology as well. We like to say you can use whatever device is handy at the moment. You can use the web-based version on a computer. You can use the web-based version through an iPad or an Android tablet, and you can also use it with an iPhone or an Android phone. But we do have an app, and the app is really great. It provides a little different functionality than the web-based version of ThingLink, but everything is connected and syncs up. So even students who don't have wireless at home create a ThingLink just by opening up the app and using the camera and the text features. Then when they connect with wireless again, everything will sync up. So it's great for students who don't have wireless, and it's great for places that don't have free Wi-Fi. You can take your school iPads outside and on a field trip. Students can take photos of what they see. They can immediately annotate them with text and ideas. And later when they return to the classroom, they can connect to the wireless and dig deeper and discover more about what they just saw. So ThingLink is great. You can use it with or without wireless and basically on any device that's handy at the moment. You can also share ThingLink across the web. There's a share button on every ThingLink that immediately allows you to share it to Facebook or Twitter or any of these social media sites. There's a very nice app you can create for your Facebook page, which will display a live ThingLink right on the Facebook page. That's very powerful. This is really great for sharing these ideas again because we don't all need to reinvent the wheel. We can use the work that others are creating. We can even use a remix feature, which will be explained a little later, to adapt someone else's ThingLink and turn it into our own learning experience that's more suitable for our students. You can also send a link to a ThingLink very easily, but a very nice feature is that you can embed it on anything that will accept embedded content. So that means if you see one of the activities tonight that you like, you can easily grab the embed code, put it in your own teaching space, and students can use it. As I update it, you will get the updates as well without ever having to go back, without ever having to look again. So there's a lot of power in one ThingLink image, and we are sharing these all across social media. That's one of the things I do as the Education Community Manager. And finally, I'd like to mention Google Drive integration. ThingLink is my favorite tool for teaching and learning, and I was very eager to get Google Docs integrated because I love to use Google Docs as well. I think that this combination is the most powerful combination of any tech tool for teaching and learning, because when you create a ThingLink, you can drive the learning and add accountability pieces just by using Google Docs. So I'm going to click out a little bit and show you more of this just to get you excited about it. I'm going to also mention that next week at the same time, we'll be sharing a webinar that's dedicated to ThingLink and Google Docs, and I hope you'll join us if you like this little preview here. So here's an example of a ThingLink that I created for students to explore, to learn a little bit about the Amazon rainforest. This is a kickoff for a greater project, which is down here, which also involves more Google Docs. And the end goal is after students explore my ThingLink, then they work in groups to create another one about a different rainforest. So it involves research, it involves collaboration, it involves 21st century skills, and it's differentiated. This lesson was specifically designed to meet the teaching and learning needs of a classroom that had 8 students who were really struggling with reading. I said that they could still do a research project, especially if they started out with an image, because an image is so powerful. So this whole thing is designed to support all learners, but I know that if I just give students a ThingLink like this and I say just explore the Amazon rainforest, oh, they'll explore it and they'll engage, they'll look at the videos that are here, some of them will do some reading, they'll definitely listen to the sounds, but I'm not sure they're all learning what I want them to learn. So I like to use the Google Docs to add the piece of accountability, and that's where they come in. So at the bottom of my ThingLink collage that has a lot of different features to support all learners, including the different reading levels, I have powered this project by Google Docs. I start with an essential question. This is just a Google document that's published and added to the ThingLink. It just appears this way. How does energy move through an ecosystem? So here is my essential question that I expect everybody to be able to answer when they're done with this project. Now, for students who are really lacking in background skills, they can also watch a video here about, and it's an interactive video, which I'll be sharing later, about consumers, producers, and decomposers. So they can get the whole background here. The idea with the exit ticket, this is a Google Doc, and this is what all students have to fill out when they're doing this activity. And so as you can see, it's live and on the page, and they can fill it out. It's very simple, and it just answers the essential question. I wanted everybody in the class to be able to tell the difference between a consumer, a producer, and a decomposer. And then if you continue, you'll see that there are some open-ended, higher level thinking questions that students have to answer. They're responding in paragraph text. And then they submit it, and I will get their answers. Now, the students automatically said to me, wait a minute, that's cheating. We can tell you what the answers are. We can look up the answers when we're on the page, and that is the whole idea of this learning activity. I don't care if they have to look up the answers. I just want to know that we've covered that content and that all students are learning what was intended. They can have a lot of fun with the ThingLink, but it's real important that you add those pieces. One more Google Docs, and then I will be sharing this next week in detail from start to finish, including how you create this beautiful collage here using Google Slides. So I hope you'll come back for that, or I hope you'll at least request the recorded version for this part. I do have students working in groups, and then I have them turning it in through an inbox. This is just a little invention that I use for a lot of digital assignments. But I'm asking them to copy and paste the link to their final project here, because then I get a spreadsheet on the other end, and that spreadsheet allows me to quickly look at their work all together. It also allows me to sort a year's worth of work by student so that we could maybe have conferences about their learning and about setting goals and reflections as well. So that's how I use a Google Doc for this. Now, one more thing. I know many schools have Google Apps for Education. That's wonderful. I love it when students have access to Google Apps for Education, but don't let that hold you back from using ThingLink and Google Docs if you don't. But if your school has not yet jumped on the Google Docs bandwagon, that won't limit your ability to integrate these two tools, because all of these Google Docs that I use and embed were created by me and published. And any teacher can create and publish a Google Doc, even if you don't have the account. You just sign up for a Gmail account, and it's all included with your Gmail account, and it's free. So great if you have Google Apps for Education. Works even if you don't. There's so many powerful possibilities for Google Apps and ThingLink. Now, here comes the fun part. I'm going to create a ThingLink for you so that you can see how it works. So here I am on the ThingLink site. And now I need to click on my own name to see the images that I've created. And here I can see my whole dashboard. This is where you find your images, your videos, which we'll be sharing soon, channels. Now a channel is a collection of images that are put together like a slideshow. This webinar is using channels. I've simply taken my individual slides and added them to a channel, and I have a nice little slideshow and collection of images. But we're going to start out by creating one. So I can just simply click on the Create button, and I'll come to this screen. I'm going to choose an image. Got that on my desktop. And I'm going to just upload it, and now it's in ThingLink. Once your image is uploaded to ThingLink, it automatically opens in the editor. Simply give it a title, and then you're ready to begin adding your tags. Now, for this demo, I'm actually rebuilding something that I created and used when I needed to be absent one day. Since I'm a tech coach, I don't have a sub, but I was working at the time with a group of first graders. So these students were 6 and 7 years old. And I knew that if I didn't show up, they'd need something to do that would keep them busy while the teachers each worked with their groups. So they essentially had to stay in the back of the classroom and do something for about 20 minutes. So I created this, and I think it's a great idea, and I've actually used it since. The students loved it. So I've uploaded my image to ThingLink and I've given it a title. Now I'm ready to add a tag. Watch how easy this is. Click to add a tag. That's what I'm going to do. So I can click anywhere on the screen and drag it to where I want it to be later. So right now I clicked right here. Now you'll see the icon that appeared is a Google Form icon, and that's because that's the last icon I used. But this one is a note to my students. So I'm going to go in. You can choose any icon. There are many, many, many appropriate icons for use just in the EDU selection here. One good one that I do like to use is this magnifying glass, because they usually know that they're going to dig deeper into something. But right now I'm going to use an icon that I created so that they know it's me. I like to use my own avatar, which is an icon. This avatar is very useful for having conversations with students, and I actually have them create their own avatars as well. So that's me. So here's my icon. I can drag it to wherever I want, but in this case I just want to give students some directions, so I just need text. Now here are my directions, talking about my absence and telling them to follow these directions. I can make it heading, and I can make it bold here if I want them to make sure to see this one part. I could also get really fancy, and I can change the colors of the bubble background maybe to match the tag, and I can change the color of the font too if I want to, but right now I think I like black. And I can change the font if I want to. So all of those things are nice customization features that are available in Premium. But again, the most important thing is the tag. So when students click on this, I want them to get my message, so I'm going to drag it right here and save it. Now the next thing I want to do is my directions said 1, watch the video, and 2, do the exit ticket. So I'm going to quickly put it here because these are 6- and 7-year-olds. They're going to get really excited when they see this. And I'm just going to make sort of a dummy tag right here with the number 1 so they can follow that. And I'm just going to say watch the video so they get that direction again if they forgot to click on me. Now I'm going to add the video. So I just click and I choose the video icon because I want these young students to know what to do right away without wasting time. There's the video icon next to the 1. And the only thing I have to do now is copy and paste the YouTube URL into this box right here to make it show up live on the page. Now for the purposes of this demonstration, I've already got that on my clipboard. So just like a clicking show, the product is actually done. There you go. So I copy and paste the share link, and this video shows up live and on the page. We'll be able to play it when I save it. It's very important when you're creating ThingLink that you realize you have the ability to actually add text to the bottom of any video or any link. So in this case, it's a Reading Rainbow video, and I want students to know that. So I'm going to go ahead and pop that in here so that they'll see it. And I can, again, make that heading. I can change my color. I don't really like that color, so let me make it a light gray so that they can see it. And these are young students, so why don't I just make it really, really big? That's a little too big. So I'll make it medium size, big. All right, and I save it. And I save it, and it will play. But I'm not done. Remember, I wanted an exit ticket on here as well to make sure that students don't just watch the video, but they watch it and that they learn something. So again, I'm going to put a number 2 here so they know that's the next thing they have to do. And I'm just going to say exit ticket. So they know they need to fill out the exit ticket. And now let's put the exit ticket on. Now the exit ticket is a Google form, and my students are used to using these icons to identifying their resources. So I created a custom icon with a Google form. Now let me show you how to get that Google form to embed. And again, I already have the link to the Google form copied to my clipboard so I can demonstrate it quickly, but you just copy it from Google and then you paste it right there and it's live on the page. Now I don't feel like I need to add text to this part, but it is an option if I wanted to as well. So this is the end of this quick little substitute ThingLink, so let me show you how it really works. I save the image. And then here you see the saved version, and I just made it full screen. So kids, I gave them a QR code. They were able to get to my ThingLink. You could also embed it in your blog if you wanted to. And I gave them directions that they knew to click on. One, watch the video. It plays live and on the page with the pause button, which is really important because as kids are going to cheat, as they say, and look at the exit ticket ahead of time, they can actually answer the questions as they go along. And it's just a really simple exit ticket. And I'll get all of the answers once they submit it. The beauty of this ThingLink, when I go back into the regular screen, is that the next time I'm sick, I just click edit. I change this video, I change this form, and students can access this again and do the same type of an activity, or I could build my entirely different activity. So it's a really great thing to put together. And I learned my lesson, and I have my next substitute teacher toolkit already waiting for when I'm absent, so I don't have to do that when I'm sick. So that's how you can quickly build a ThingLink. I could just as easily add audio or any other of those rich media resources to this ThingLink by copying and pasting the tag. So I want to show you now why your school or school district needs ThingLink to promote things like 21st century reading, writing, and research, because it's really powerful. It's great to create a nice, attractive, interactive image, but these next projects are here to show you that this can really help you compact your crowded plate. And the way it can transform your classroom is you no longer have to teach content and then have students do a cute, pretty tech project at the end showing what they learned. They can learn as they create a ThingLink, and it can also be used to present what they learned. So you're now maximizing your instructional time. You can have students working in the 24/7 classroom because this is all available from any device that's handy at the moment. And you can really get a lot more in and have kids dig a lot deeper into the content when you're using ThingLink. Now, this is just a snapshot of a project that I did with a 5th grade teacher here at my school. It was called Pollution Party. She designed the project with the idea that the kids would create a poster about what they were learning for their pollution party. And the poster, of course, used ThingLink. So I was in there supporting students. They were new ThingLink users, and they all created their posters. They loved it. They had images and they had videos all over the place, and they were done in like a class period. They had this whole thing done in 20 minutes. They learned how to use ThingLink and created these ThingLinks with all of these links, and they posted them to a channel so that we had a collection of ThingLink images in a channel like this slideshow. And I went around and I talked to the students because when I looked at their resources, it didn't tell me much. And I said, well, why did you add this video? And they said, I don't know, it sounded good. And I said, did you watch the video? They said, no, we just put it on. It sounded like it would fit. Same thing with the articles they linked to. So I learned my lesson. You need to make students accountable for what they're putting on here. Just like when I said, students will just explore the ThingLink, we don't know what they're learning. It's the same thing when they build a ThingLink. You need to sort of drive that learning. So I learned a very important lesson, and it was really easy to do. When you have kids create the ThingLink, you need to require them to add and annotate the tags. That's 21st century writing, because in school we're always having kids write long essays and include lots of details. That's wonderful, except in the real world we also need to write clear, short, and concise sentences to describe something. That's a different writing skill, but it's very important. So here's what this student went ahead and did. She turned her tag that linked to an article. She read the article, and then she decided that it was all about contaminated drinking water, and what people needed to know is that 2.5% of the world's water is safe to drink. She was right on target there. That was the important thing, and now she's learned a lot. So I went ahead and I did it with students with their video too. And so as they watch the video, I actually make them write a small annotation at the bottom in the text box to describe why they put the video there through quick clear and concise sentences. So basically a summary of it. And so there's a lot of learning that goes into writing quickly as well. And so of course for research, every time you give students the task of creating a poster to demonstrate pollution in India, they're going to be researching as they add the tags. This next project is certainly going to demonstrate the power of and all of the learning that happens when students or teachers create a ThingLink. And so I do encourage you, once you get comfortable making a basic simple ThingLink, I encourage you to start with ThingLink by creating resources for your students, because then you'll just clearly understand all the learning that goes into creating a ThingLink and why it's so great for students. This is a work in progress. I decided to share it with you because it certainly covers some Common Core skills that we need to cover, some 21st century learning skills, and I wanted to show you how one interactive image can start with a teacher creating a resource, and it can turn into a powerful student project. So this is the newest piece to a project that I've been working on for a while called Struggle for Justice, and the whole project asks students to answer the essential question: how did people struggle for justice during the civil rights movement? That's a pretty powerful question, and again, by using an essential question, every student in the classroom can answer it at their different level. So I'm starting with this part, and this is what I would give to students. This is a very famous image that everyone has probably seen before, but there's a bigger story behind this image, and I'm going to show you how you can discover that bigger story and just improve your own knowledge when you're creating a project like this, and how this can develop into a student project. So I started out with the picture. Actually, I put it into Google Slides so that I could include these headings you see here: Central High School, Little Rock, Arkansas, September 4th, 1957. I thought those were important for students to be able to put this image into context and do the resulting research project. So we're going to start out. I added just two simple text tags with the names of these young ladies, Elizabeth Eckford and Hazel Bryant, because I think also for the research they're going to need that information. Now, oh, and before I forget, this here is a credit to the original source, the photojournalist Wilmer Counts. This is a great way to teach students about being good, responsible digital citizens. I found out that Wilmer Counts was inducted into the Hall of Fame, so this actually links to a really nice article about this man that will tell you a little more and gives him credit for the source. I would always try to include credit whenever you can. Really easy just to pop that into ThingLink too. So in this case, I'm going to power this project with a little Google slide presentation. I'm not using it in the traditional way. It's very easy to again, publish this Google slide so it's live on the page, and it's just sort of a guideline. I wanted to use pages so that students would stop and do each part. I could have just as easily done a Google document, but then I feel like some would just race through it, and I wanted them to know, stop and do this before you move on. So this is a non-traditional Google slide, and I'm just using it to drive the learning and to guide the learning. There aren't even any pictures in here. I created it very, very, very quickly. Now the reason I like to have this on the page is because then students won't lose the resource. If I hand them a guideline that's on paper, that's fine. That would be just as good because it doesn't change the learning, except when students lose it or don't have it on hand when they need it. This way, this resource is always here. Now the second beauty of doing this is, let's say I make a spelling error, or I want to change something in my slide. I can do that from my end, and it will automatically update here. So if a student's absent, or if students are at home and they're emailing me and they have all kinds of questions about what they're supposed to do, I can clarify that on the slide and it will automatically update. So lots and lots of reasons for using the Google slide. So I just wanted to share that with you. But anyway, it's not very fancy. Now I got the idea for this, it's a look into visual literacy, because of course when students are looking at an image, you can read an image, and there are Common Core skills that can come out of that. So I found an article on Edutopia that really had a nice guide for walking through students through visual literacy, and I did use the ideas from that article, and I did credit them in the Google slide presentation as well. So these ideas are out there. So I'm asking students to study the photograph for 2 minutes and make an overall impression of the photo. Then I'm asking them to take a closer look. I love this idea from Edutopia, where you divide it into quadrants or 4 parts, and they study each of the different sections. What they're going to see here is all the boys that are in this image behind this woman named Hazel Bryant. And so that's sort of what I wanted them to see here, and that'll come out a little later as to why. Then I want them to make some inferences on what they've observed from the photo. And then I want them to generate some of their own questions to research, because this is what motivates students to research when they're writing their own questions. And if students couldn't do that, I'm available as the teacher, since this is all done already, to walk around and help them write those questions and rephrase those questions, and maybe group students together to generate ideas and just to respond to the teachable moment. So that's why teaching like this is a wonderful thing. And then I'm going to have them tell the story by remixing this image and making their own copy in ThingLink, doing some research based on their questions and the text that they see here, and telling a deeper story about these women named Elizabeth and Hazel. So that is the project here. That's the launcher for the project. So what I need to explain is how to remix an image. When you view a ThingLink image that you didn't create, you'll see this remix button. When you click on it, it quickly will prompt you to log into your account, and then you'll get a copy of that image in your own ThingLink. You can do what you please with it. It's now not associated with the original one. The original one stays intact that I created, but students will get all of the links. They'll be able to keep those links or change those links. So this is good for a student project, because I'm going to want students to keep my links, but I want them to add their own links to it as well. And so I want them to create their own unique ThingLink and tell their own unique story. It's also good for any of these ThingLinks you see. I mentioned earlier that if you find a ThingLink that you like, maybe you like the Amazon Rainforest project I did, you can remix it and you can change whatever you want about it and use it. You don't have to start from scratch. Now, remixing and reusing images is one of the goals of ThingLink, but sometimes when teachers put a lot of work into their ThingLink, they get a little upset when they see somebody else's name on their project. So I do stress, if you remix anybody's work, just put a little tag in the corner like I did with Wilmer Counts and credit the original source. Right down here, just say original source created by whoever created it, and link back to their site or link back to that original image, because I think we're all really happy to share, but it feels better when our name stays on what we create. Okay, so back to the project. So students would remix this image, they'd get their own, and they would probably remove this right here because they don't need this guideline anymore, but they'd probably just keep the names of the ladies. Through their research, I discovered that I learned a lot about this picture. This picture actually is really interesting. Well, it became, the headline story in the Arkansas Gazette, and everybody could see this poster child for racism was Hazel. Now you can see that I wrote this down below as well, so I annotated my text as well. But there's a bigger story behind it. So, and you can learn that by researching. By the way, you can research any of these terms, or you could actually drop this photo into Google search and click on the camera and you'll come to stories about it. So that's why this is good for even students who have very limited knowledge and who struggle with reading. You can just take the image and boom, you've got some research. So what I found was really, really interesting. First of all, I found an article that was written by Elizabeth Eckford, and it tells her story in her own words. Now there are two sources on this page. One is text, and the other is actually audio that she recorded. So I think it's really powerful to listen to her audio, and you can do that down here. But when you listen to Elizabeth's story about that day, you learn so much more. You learn that she was one of the Little Rock Nine, but she was the only one who didn't have a telephone. And the night before these students were supposed to go, There were some decisions made about carpooling and sticking together because there were concerns for their safety. Of course, Elizabeth didn't have a telephone, so Elizabeth went on her own. Here she is walking on her own, trying to find where she can enter the school, and she's getting turned away by the National Guard at every entrance. And she keeps trying to go to a different entrance, but she keeps getting turned away. She didn't know about the communication and what was going on with the rest of the group. She was on her own. When you learn about, she was also very concerned the night before she attended school about what she was wearing. She hoped her skirt would be ready. She's a 15-year-old girl, and that's what 15-year-old girls often think about on the first day of school. Now, she has a lot in common with Hazel. You can see this picture of Hazel here is very powerful, and again, Hazel became the poster child for racism in the United States at the age of 15. But when you hear Hazel's story, she has something very much in common with Elizabeth. She was most concerned about how she looked. Look at her dress. She's 15 years old. She said that she wanted to look good for the boys, and she wanted some attention so that the boys would notice her. This is why she describes that look on her face. She was making a lot of noise and she was screaming. She wanted these boys who are all around her to pay attention to her. That's how she tells her story a few years later. The turning point for me in the research was that I discovered that there's a book that's been written about this called Elizabeth and Hazel. Here's the video from YouTube of the book trailer, and I watched it, and this is where I learned a lot of stuff. It was written by David Margolick, and he will tell the story about Elizabeth and Hazel, and that's how I really expanded my knowledge about this information. But what I learned is that these two women later became friends. And ultimately, these two ladies were united in front of the high school years later, and they became very friendly. They actually even gave talks together, just, on their unity, and they became very, very friendly for many years. But unfortunately, at the end, the friendship dropped off. And this quote that I found from Elizabeth kind of says it all. True reconciliation can occur only when we honestly acknowledge our painful but shared past. So the idea here is that as students are generating their own questions into this one image, they're going to get so much smarter. And I really do think that using ThingLink makes you a little smarter. Now, as I mentioned, this is part of a bigger project that I've been working on for a while, and it's called Civil Rights Hotspots. I would kick off the project with this map. It's pretty powerful and impressive, but pretty easy to create. I used Google Docs and Google Spreadsheet actually, and an add-on to quickly add the places that I wanted to put onto my Civil Rights Hotspots map. Again, we're answering the question, how and why did people struggle for justice during the civil rights movement? So I would have students work in teams, and I'd have them create answers to those questions, and I'd have them pick an event. So down here is the Central High School event. Now, when this is done, I'll instead substitute the image and the text for the student project here. And then if I do it few years in a row, I can remix it and create one for each different group. So there would be a live ThingLink right here that you could click on and get back to that more powerful picture or more powerful story that's told by the annotated image. There are lots here for students to choose from. You can see how I'm using different type of media here and sometimes just text to launch the project, but when we were done, then we'd have a ThingLink in its place that would be very powerful piece of multimedia. I also have a form to turn it in because I mentioned earlier it's nice to have all of those ThingLinks in one place. And here's just another example. This is a project that I did a long time ago. This is a different way how students struggled for justice during the civil rights movement. This one focuses a lot on the audio because songs were so important back in those times. So students can listen to audio as well, or they could even create their own music to do that. This one's also guided by jobs and through a Google Doc where students are working on different parts of this to create one ThingLink, but they're working with resources that work for their learning styles. And so again, I hope you'll join me next week when I explain how to create these and how to do the jobs. Now, moving forward, I'm going to switch gears a little bit because I've shown you a lot of ways to use the power of media and an image for teaching and learning. This can truly transform your classroom. I think once you try it, you're going to say, wow, I can do this and I can do this. And I know my mind explodes with possibilities constantly, and I've been using things for such a long time. I'm still totally empowered by the possibilities. But ThingLink for Video is another important piece of the ThingLink suite that you get when you sign up for a ThingLink account. ThingLink for Video is accessible through the home page and the dashboard that I showed you earlier, and it's a tool for annotating video, just like you annotate an image. So let me show you a little bit about how that works. In my channel here is a ThingLink for Video that I've created. It's a very short one, but I realize that when I play it, you won't hear the sound. So I'm going to hear the sound as I'm talking. I'm just going to try to talk over it and stop and demonstrate it for you. What you do is you just take a link from a YouTube video and you pop it into ThingLink for Video. And then you get the tagging tool where you can click on Edit and add a tag. When users see the video, the tag will flash up on the screen and you don't even need to stop. You can just click on it and come to more resources. For the purposes of this demo, as I'm talking, I'm probably just going to pause, but I want you to know that you don't have to. So this is a video on to go along with a unit on plate tectonics. So let me show you how this ThingLink for Video can make students accountable for watching the video. It turns a whole class activity into something that could be done at home to get the prior knowledge about plate tectonics. It makes everyone accountable, and it's done. So while teachers might show a video in front of class and stop it and ask a question, that's fine, but you have to remember to do that all the time. This one's done. You create it once and you can use it for years, and you can also update and change it. So let's take a look at this. I'm just going to push the play button here. Okay, right there. I'm going to pause, but again, you don't have to pause. You can just click on this tag and the video will stop. I start with a Google form, show what you know, because I want kids to be thinking about vocabulary as they're watching it. So they put their name in and they're talking about these vocabulary words that will come up in the video. And I have them say, I have no clue, I've heard of it, I can use it, I can explain it. This is just to get them listening for the video. And then later we're going to do an exit ticket, which is exactly the same, but ask them to do a little more. And so then they go ahead and submit it. Now they're listening for those terms, and they go back to the video and they play. Okay, what causes the Earth's continents to move? Now in this case, I felt like kids needed some background knowledge. We're already talking about volcanoes here, if you can't tell from the video that I keep interrupting. I thought they needed to understand the whole thing. So this is like a 12-second video that illustrates Pangea that they would go ahead and watch, a video within a video. And again, that's just my teaching style. You can add whatever you want there, but I'm just going to keep playing. Now, let me stop for a minute. You see these yellow things? The yellow things are where I've added tags. So you can see all the tags that are here. I wanted kids to explore the Earth's crust, and so I have an activity actually that they would go click out to do in this case. It was pretty nice and worth the click out. And if I keep going, which I'm not going to show you the whole thing, you can see there are more tags here. The narrator talks about plankton. He just says plankton, and I thought we needed to know what plankton looked like, so here's an image, and that speaks volumes. Again, I've credited my source there because that's an important thing to do. And at the end of this video, there's an exit ticket, which is very, very similar. I just reused that Google form. I had them now talk about the vocabulary words. I asked some basic questions because everybody should be able to get one right. That's why I use the multiple choice. And then I asked them to explain some things. And again, they can re-watch this video to get the answers. My goal is not to trick them. My goal is to empower them to do the learning and share their ideas. And so it's all just powered by this Google Doc that streamlines everything for me. And again, it allows me to walk around and help students and work with them, keep them on task, and have conversations about the learning rather than just having conversations about the technology. Now, I've showed you a lot of resources, but I have many more. And so everybody's teaching at a different grade level and a different content area. So I want to share with you a resource that I shared at ISTE 2015 this year to try to demonstrate different levels of use and different things you can do with a ThingLink. This is a nice one because it's my first graders creating. Okay, I want to just quickly show you this Sea Creatures project, and I hope you'll explore it more. This is work in progress between me and my first graders, and I only had them for 20 minutes, but I wanted them to build a ThingLink and do research about sea creatures. And they were able to do it, and they loved it. They picked their own sea creatures. Now, this is what I mean by work in progress. These students were 7 years old, and they went home and they wanted to keep working on it. And I gave them information so their parents could help them a little bit. But Lucy here just wanted to know how many toes does a sea turtle have? And she kept trying and kept trying. So I came one day and I looked at it, and there was a question from Lucy. How many turtles does a sea turtle have? And so she could not figure it out. So finally, I said, read this article. I found the answer for her because she was trying and she was 7 and she couldn't. And she absolutely read the article and finally showed up and she said, sea turtles don't have toes. She was so excited. But this is a way you can dialogue with students. I could put one on here and I could say, you're doing great work, but please check your spelling. Students could set goals and use this for actually portfolios. So there are lots of possibilities here, not just, just beyond the basic creating an image and making a pretty image. I think that we can do that, and we can do a whole lot more. So I hope you'll explore this research. If you go to my blog, you can find visual literacy, or of course everyone here has a link to this interactive slideshow, so this is a good starting point for you. And as the final piece of this webinar, I just want to talk about the different accounts that are available for you and your students and your school or district. You can start with a basic ThingLink account. Make sure it's a ThingLink teacher account. And you can, as a free user, you'll be able to set up a classroom and access some of the features. Now, a classroom means that your students can join and they can start tagging and they can start creating. You can see all of their work, and you can again comment on their work, and you can create nice collections of work by creating channels. ThingLink Free has a lot of features. It doesn't have every feature that you've seen here, but it has a lot of features, so you can really explore this. So if you're new to ThingLink, please sign up for an account. But we also have ThingLink Premium for teachers, which you can get all of these features and more. You can have many more students. I think you can have up to 1,000 students associated with your account. They get all of the free features as well. And they also have access to, they can see each other's work in a shared classroom. You can create shared channels. You can do all kinds of amazing things. That is the ThingLink Teacher Premium version. But better than getting your own teacher account, whether it's free or premium, I'd like to encourage those of you who are inspired by ThingLink to try to get it for your district. Getting ThingLink for your district is definitely the way to go because we can onboard all of your administrators, teachers, and students just by sharing an invite code. That invite code allows everybody to join at the appropriate levels. It also allows students to join multiple teachers' classrooms. So if you're switching teachers, if you're teaching in a high school or a middle school or even at a university, this allows them to be their own user. Nobody really owns them, but you're your own user within the district. So that is a great feature. And then of course we know that once teachers and students are creating, it's going to catch on. And to save you the trouble of having everybody to sign up for their own account, it's really easy to do this. And you can start out with a free account if you want to. It's really easy to onboard your whole district. Now, if you're interested in the premium version and you want all of these features, I'm sure you'll find that it's a really economical value as well, because you can create a lot of curriculum and a lot of content. And all of that content can be shared, as I've mentioned. It can be remixed and reused and updated so it can be used forever. And creating content and curriculum like this is something that we have been relying on our publishing companies to do, but I'm here to tell you that there's a lot of talent. You as an educator can do that because you have a lot of talent and you know exactly what you need to teach, especially if you're teaching from standards. You can look up the standards, you can put a tag right on your ThingLink, and then you can build your activity around those standards. So no longer do we need to spend all that money on massive textbook adoptions. I think you'll find ThingLink to be extremely economical. If you are interested in a district account, I encourage you to send a quick email to support@thinglink.com. If you have questions, you can do that as well. And we can also we would love to do a demo for the decision makers in your district or your tech team or a crew of teachers who want a little training on ThingLink. We'd love to do a demo because ThingLink is so powerful and so flexible. We can show you exactly how it can work specifically for the teaching and learning needs in your district, because I assure you it can. Okay, and finally we have some webinars that are coming up. In addition to this one, in this series we've got Google Apps, which I've talked about quite a bit. I hope to see some participants there. We've got App Smashing with ThingLink Padlet and Explain Everything. And we've got How to Build the Ultimate Word Wall. And that again uses Padlet. That's a very powerful way for improving our teaching and doing intentional teaching of vocabulary to help students be academically successful throughout the course of their student careers. And then again, there's the demo. So I have a form here if you wanted a demo for your district that is different than some of the things I'm offering, or if you wanted everybody to get on with the microphone as well. I hope you'll fill out this. I hope you'll fill out this form or just simply contact me, Susan@thinglink.com. And here is my contact information again, just in case you don't have it. You can follow me on Twitter. You can send me an email. You can use our support desk. Many ways to get in touch with us. So I'd like to thank everyone for attending this webinar, and I hope you found some ideas here that inspire you to transform teaching and learning with ThingLink EDU. Happy tagging and have a good night.